After lots of tantalizing and teasing towards the end of last year and the start of this year, Square Enix has just revealed an absolute truckload of news relating to Final Fantasy XV during their panel at PAX East 2018. They not only revealed the names of all 4 pieces of previously announced DLC, but they also provided fans with a full roadmap of when they will actually release. And they also shared information about how they will be changing the Windows edition of the game as the year progresses, while also revealing that they will be releasing Comrades as its own game later this year. Let's start things off though with the DLC, as this is by far the most interesting of all the announcements, especially if you look back at the history relating to why this DLC even exists. Towards the end of last year, during their Final Fantasy XV active time report at the 2017 Tokyo Game Show, Hajime Tabata announced that they would be creating 3 additional pieces of DLC for the game. Tabata revealed that they had decided to change their approach to the post-game content and extend it beyond their original plan because there had just been such a strong demand from the fans who had been asking for the story to be enriched further. Tabata revealed that this new suite of downloadable content would be used to fill in holes that existed within the story so that they could make Final Fantasy XV feel more complete. And at the time, according to Siliconera, he said that it won't only be about digging further into characters through additional episodes, but we must show more for the setting of the world that is its base in order to better depict how its characters are living. A few months later, during their Final Fantasy XV first anniversary active time report, they revealed that the first piece of downloadable content in this new plan would be called Episode Ardyn. This would not only help to provide us with more backstory relating to the primary antagonist of the game, but would also be used to help build out more about the wider lore of Eos itself. Tabata noted that unlike the other pieces of DLC they'd released, these new ones will be worked on with no hard deadlines in mind, as they wanted to focus on releasing content that they are sure will guarantee satisfaction, as opposed to just rushing something out to meet a deadline. Because of this, Tabata tried to calm expectations around things like a potential episode Luna by saying that just because fans were asking for it, it doesn't mean that they will necessarily make it, as they will need to make sure it works from a creative perspective. Even still, Tabata did share that the plan was for Episode Ardyn to be the first of at least 3 episode-style pieces of DLC that would release during 2018, and that Square Enix would share details on the other episodes as well as when they would release before the end of 2017, which of course didn't happen. By February, we still hadn't received any update on this, but via interviews with Japanese publications like Famitsu and 4Gamer, it was revealed that they had expanded the scope of the post-launch content, as they would now be working on 4 pieces of DLC, as opposed to the 3 that they had initially announced. Tabata revealed that after having some time to reflect, he felt that fans were no longer asking for plot holes to be filled within the main story of Final Fantasy XV, and that because of this, the new DLC episodes would be rather different from the ones that were part of the original Season Pass. Takeshi Terada, who directed episode Ignis, also revealed that they will be looking to use the new DLC episodes to expand the universe of Final Fantasy XV further, as they had done with other properties like Brotherhood and Kingsglaive. They would therefore be working on this new suite of content with the mindset of it being an additional series as opposed to additional content for the main game. He also shared that from a personal perspective, they will be looking to make sure that characters got more love from the fans as a result of what they wanted to create. Having alluded to it previously, Tabata also shared the news with Famitsu that not all of the new DLC would release in 2018, as some of it would instead be releasing in 2019 to ensure that the quality was as good as they wanted it to be. And if we fast forward to the news from PAX East 2018, which was delivered by Ryo Mitsuno, the global brand manager for Final Fantasy XV, we can see exactly how these previous assertions have manifested, as the previously teased plan has now been released in full as Final Fantasy XV: The Dawn of the Future. Although I should say that there was a note that some aspects of this expansion are still a work in progress. So, as was previously revealed, the first piece of released DLC will focus on Ardyn, and this has been provisionally dubbed Episode 1, Ardyn, The Conflict of the Sage. It's said that this episode will focus on the struggles of Ardyn, and to help portray that, it will look at why he grew to resent the line of Lucis, while also taking a closer look at his conflict with the Astrals. This will be followed up by a side story from within the main narrative with episode Aranea, which is subtitled The Beginning of the End. It's said that this episode will look at the Star Scourge, but from the perspective of the Niflheim Empire. It will take place around the final days of the Empire and the struggles that Aranea endures as a result of these events. The next episode, despite Tabata trying to suggest that it may not happen, has been revealed as Episode 2, Lunafreya, The Choice of Freedom. Having obviously felt that they came up with a compelling enough concept, Lunafreya's episode will focus on her fate, which apparently not even death can save her from. It will see her battle to save Noctis from his destiny. And lastly, the planned extending 4th episode will be Episode 3, Noctis, The Final Strike. This will see Noctis part ways with the Astrals as he looks to attain an ideal future for the people of the world. And unlike the other pieces of DLC, when it was announced that it would be focusing around Noctis, it was actually met with a general apathy from the PAX crowd. Mitsuno shared that these pieces of DLC are being tied together by a common theme, that they will help to realise a future that everyone longed for, and this applies to both characters within the game and also fans of the game. And to achieve this, they will be delving into some more alternate realities. Two clear candidates for this given their descriptions are episode Lunafreya and episode Noctis. Luna's, for example, suggests that she will be able to change Noctis' fate, while Noctis's suggests that he's able to achieve a better outcome for the world. It's something that Tabata actually hinted at a few months ago as he asked fans at a meet and greet if they would like to see a happy or a super bad ending for Final Fantasy XV. And it looks like they're going to go for the happy option, as in one of the teased pieces of concept art that they revealed, Ardyn is looking rather chummy with the other main characters of the game, and it looks like Noctis and Lunafreya survived and even have 2 children. Mitsuno though was very keen to stress that this won't impact the main game or enjoyment of it, as he said, of course, we're not trying to overwrite the existing ending. The ending for Final Fantasy XV is the ending of Final Fantasy XV, but like we did with episode Ignis, we want to give players a choice to see a possible different outcome. Terada, who I had previously mentioned directed episode Ignis, was revealed to be the director of all the Dawn of the Future episodes, and he noted that from speaking to fans all around the world, it was clear that they had to do episode Ardyn and episode Lunafreya. Episode Noctis though was entirely their decision internally, as they felt it was appropriate for him to be the character that rounded out this alternative grand finale, and this is essentially why they went from doing 3 episodes to 4. Tabata had previously mentioned that it was actually internal feedback that meant that they wanted to expand the roadmap further, and from what they've announced, that all becomes pretty clear. And to celebrate this new alternative ending, they've actually commissioned a new main theme that will be composed by Yoko Shimomura. For deciding on the side story episode, they did actually consider creating episode Ravis or episode Nyx, but they ultimately settled on episode Aranea following lots of internal discussions. Now, if you remember, they had initially asserted that these DLC episodes would land in 2018, but following the addition of the 4th DLC episode, they noted that some of them would release in 2018, but others would fall into 2019. While now, according to the planned roadmap, they will all release in 2019. Mitsuno attempted to say that this is just around the corner, but I think it's a little bit further away than that. The release of the new God of War is just around the corner, the release of this DLC is not. And given the fact that almost everything related to Final Fantasy XV has been delayed at some point or another, including this DLC twice, and even the unveiling of this roadmap itself was delayed, I probably wouldn't expect this roadmap to actually be adhered to. Either way, the current plan is for the DLC to start releasing towards the latter part of winter 2018, which, for your reference, should mean that episode Ardyn will release at the end of February 2019. The other 3 pieces of DLC will release 1 per month straight after, so we should see Final Fantasy XV conclude during April 2019. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled though, as I'm pretty sure there will be a Final Fantasy XV Complete Edition releasing later in that year or at some point during 2020. The notorious Michael Pachter reckons that the PlayStation 5 may well arrive in 2020, so a cross-generation release would actually make sense, especially as we know that Final Fantasy XV can already look way better than it does on the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro, thanks to the PC release. As you've all now seen the roadmap to, you can see that Comrades is going to be a much bigger deal as we get further into 2018. Shigefumi Tanaka, the live service manager for Final Fantasy XV, revealed during the stream that they are planning to release Comrades as a standalone game and have penciled in summer 2018 as a provisional release window. They believe this will help to remove barriers around entry into the game, which will lead to more players being available for you to join up with in order to tackle the game's various quests and challenges. They're also planning to add in tons of new content to the game to coincide with this release, including brand new bosses. One of them will be Gilgamesh from episode Gladiolus, while the other is rather comical. They had previously stated that the Yosuke Matsuda fight from Mystery Disc wouldn't ever appear in the main game, and well, they were very much correct with that assertion, as you will now be able to fight against Matsuda in Comrades. They will also be adding in super hard raid bosses and battle challenges, which will see you square off against multiple bosses at the same time. Tanaka also took the time to detail some of the changes that will be happening to the Windows Edition. They had actually spoken a long time ago about putting a character editor into the main game, and not just the multiplayer, so that you could play as your own avatar instead of Noctis, and that will now be coming to the PC version of the game. They are also adding in an update that will allow users to place treasure boxes throughout dungeons and the wider world for people to pick up. Tanaka shared that their current plan is for users to be able to place treasures once a day, but the interesting thing is that the reward for finding these treasures gets better the longer it hasn't been found. They feel as though this would encourage players to put treasure in difficult locations. Tanaka also revealed that mods will be coming to the game at some point during spring 2018. They are currently making final adjustments, so don't want to commit to a date just yet, but they assured us that its release is pretty soon. And to go along with this, the team are also working on a level editor which they hope to release in fall 2018. Using this tool, you will be able to create original maps for the game, and you will also be able to create quests by placing items and enemies. You can also make complete sequences through the use of cameras and trigger boxes. And as part of this, they showed off a golf mini-game that they've been working on, which will see Eos become a big golf course. There's currently no word on whether any of these updates will release on the console version. I mean, I'm not expecting the mods or the level editor to make their way over, but I'm sure the character creator and some of the pre-made mini-games like the golf could easily exist on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One versions of the game. Either way, that's where we're at with Final Fantasy XV at the moment. There may well be more free updates coming this year in addition to everything we've just spoken about, but it looks like Final Fantasy XV is going to be around for at least the next 12 months. So how do you guys feel about all of the announcements they made at PAX East? Are you happy with the characters they've chosen for the DLC, and are you pleased with the fact that they're going to be focusing on an alternate reality? Also, how do you guys feel about Comrades getting its own standalone boxed version, and all of the updates that are coming to the PC version? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Be also sure to check out our Patreon. You can find out more information at patreon.com/FFUnion. But for now, you are currently seeing all of the guys who have chosen to support us, and we are so appreciative. Alright guys, this is Daryl signing out. I hope you've enjoyed this huge Final Fantasy XV update video, and I will see you all soon for more content.